Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the NC Barn Door Build channel. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. This is a big one. We're kicking off plumbing, and I found this to be kind of a daunting phase of the build because there's so much to think about. There's the building sewer, the building drains, the water supply system, the vent system. There's just a lot to think about, and it seemed very overwhelming. Me being a DIY individual, I'm not a licensed plumber, I'm not a contractor by trade. So it just, I don't know, my mind was kind of going all over the place with how to plumb an entire house. So in today's video, we're gonna call it part one of this plumbing series, and I wanna show you guys how I got started that helps to ease the pain and anxiety a little bit when you're looking at such a big project as plumbing an entire house. And while this house isn't complex, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. For me, never doing this before, it was enough. So let's dig in and talk about plumbing and where to get started. The first place to start is right here. Get yourself a copy of your area's building code. For me, for those that are new to the channel, and maybe even for those that are following along on the channel, I'm in North Carolina, Alexander County, and we are under the 2018 North Carolina Building Code, which is based off the 2015 IRC and the 2015 IPC, which is the International Plumbing Code, with North Carolina amendments. And if you read some of those amendments that are in there, some of them they actually pull right from the UPC. So I'm going to say in Alexander County, North Carolina, the code pretty much follows the IPC with a little bit of UPC sprinkled in. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward, but make sure wherever you're building or doing your build that you know what building code you need to follow. When you start talking about plumbing, there's 3 subcategories that you need to focus on: water supply, drainage, and venting. Those are kind of your 3 main areas or areas of focus. Today's video, we're going to talk about drainage specifically and how to plan your building drainage system. When planning your building drainage system, the first thing you need to know is how to size it. How much water are we going to use? So let's take a look at our blueprints and let's break down how much drainage fixture units our building is going to have.
So if you go into the code book, table P3004.1 is where they assign all the values for the plumbing fixtures. And with the bathroom areas, they lump a full bath. You can count everything. If you have a toilet that flushes up to 1.6 gallons per flush, they assign each bath area a drainage fixture unit value of 5. Since we have 2, that gives us a total of 10. So we're going to tally all these up. If you look at the kitchen, a kitchen group, which is a dishwasher and sink with or without a garbage disposal, that is a value of 2. And then we go into the laundry/pantry area, and I don't know exactly how the building inspector is going to look at the way we have this set up. So I'm going to do the worst case scenario. I'm going to do 2 for the sink in that area. It's technically not a laundry sink or a laundry tub. It's more of a kitchen sink. So we're going to assign that 2. That's off the table. And then our standpipe for the washer is also a value of 2. So there you go.
Now that we know how many DFUs we're going to be using, we can go into the building code and appropriately size our building drain and building sewer. To size the drain and the sewer, we need to go to 3005.4.2, and specifically we want to look at the table here. Let's start with the note there in the title where it says the building sewer, and we have a note C and E. It looks like E is not really applicable to us. However, C is. No building sewer shall be less than 4 inches in size. So that means when the building drain turns into a building sewer,
we need to, at a minimum, be 4 inches in diameter. That happens 10 feet outside the exit point of the building drain. So when we hit the foundation wall, 10 feet outside of that, we go from a drain to a sewer, and that needs to be at least 4 inches. Let's look at the actual building drain. If we go to the first column there, the diameter of the drain pipe, notice the first 3 options there, 1.5, 2, 2.5, have note B, which says no water closets. So we can't use any of those for the building drain because we have 2 water closets. We also have a note when you go down to the next one, 3-inch building drain, you can have no more than 3 water closets. I believe that is an excerpt right from the UPC. North Carolina has decided to put that in as a note. If we decide to use 3-inch building drain, we go over, we're limited to 36 DFUs or drainage fixture units if we put an 1/8-inch fall per foot on our 3-inch drain pipe. 36 is way more than what we have in the building, so that should suffice, and that's what we will go forward with. 3-inch building drain that transitions to a 4-inch building sewer once it exits the building.
All right, that's the easy part. We know how many DFUs we have. We know what the building drain size is. We know what the building sewer size is. Now it's time to put some of that on paper and lay out our fixtures based on our blueprint and draw our piping. And we can do that isometrically so you can see how many different fittings and things you need and how much piping you need. And it'll give you a really good ballpark idea of what you need to grab when you go to the store to get all of your plumbing supplies.
What I'm about to show you is how I drew my plumbing plan. This is by no means the only way to do it. This is just how my brain works. I'm sure there's better ways to do things, and you can always have a professional draw you up a plumbing plan as well. I elected to not do that and save the money, and so far it's turning out really well. Start out with your blueprint, and what I did is I just laid it on the table sideways, and then I took my graphing paper, laid my graphing paper right next to it, and drew out according to where all the fixtures were laid out, drew all the plumbing lines, drain lines out, and I'll just kind of trace over this so you guys can get an idea of how this works. Start out with your main drain line. I drew the 3-inch line down the center of the house. Again, my blueprint's turned sideways, so I'm drawing my plumbing line to match my blueprint. It goes right down through the middle of the house. And just to show you a couple examples, let's look at the kitchen sink that's going to be in the island. That hooks in on the left-hand side of that line. It's an 1.5-inch line. Horizontally connects in. It goes vertically with an elbow up through the floor into the cabinet, and there's my fixture symbol. And also in that cabinet, I'm going to tee up and put an air admittance valve in there. So I'll also need a T for a vent line, and I just draw a little circle there for an AAV symbol. The guest shower is another example. This hooks in on the right-hand side, a 2-inch line, hooks in horizontally either through a combo Y or through a Y with a 45, however you like to do it. I have to run over parallel with the main building drain line to catch a wall for the vent, and obviously I have to go down through the floor, and there's my shower fixture. Once I catch that vent, I take it up through to the attic where it connects into the 2-inch main stack that comes off the water closet in the guest bath. That main stack comes up, ties over into the main stack at the beginning of this plan, and pops through the roof. So that's my vent header that goes up through the roof. Again, this is just get you a ballpark idea of what fixtures you need. So if you draw all of your lines, all your fixtures up, you can go to the store, take this, and get a good start on your fittings and all of your plumbing supplies.
Now, here's the thing with this isometric drawing. It gives you a rough idea of what you need to complete the plumbing for your building. It's not going to include everything. You're going to run into issues along the way, maybe a wall stud in the way, maybe a joist in the way, and you're going to need additional fittings. I can tell you we're more than a third done with the drainage system in this house, and I've had to make a couple of trips to the store to pick up different things because you run into things that you weren't planning for, and that happens. That's life, right? But the plan gets you started going down the right road, and it reduces a lot of stress, and it really gets you thinking about the plumbing, the drainage system as a whole, and it'll help you as you move along in the project. Well, that's how I got started and the road that I took to get going on the plumbing system in this house. What I'd like to do next in the video series, you'll see we're going to have several videos that show piece by piece how we're putting this drainage system together. The next video, we're going to start with the building sewer, how we're actually connecting the house to the septic tank. And then we'll come inside and show you guys like how we're doing the washing machine box, how we're doing that drainage system, and you'll get a firsthand look of what I'm running into on this specific build with the drainage system. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you'll stick around. If you haven't done so, subscribe, follow along with this plumbing series as we finally get indoor plumbing in our barn dominium.